and I could relate to a lot of what they felt. At the same time, I learned a lot of different things because I grew up in the Chinese community where we were the only Chinese. And so I was struck by the fact that in the Delta, even though there were a lot of little towns like that, all those Chinese really networked, and they all got to know each other. And they all really felt a kindred kind of relationship, both as Chinese and as Southerners. Okay? So even some of the people I thought who moved away, they still feel Southern. So that maybe even though they might be in California or New York, they still sort of feel like they have some different experiences as Chinese in America. So that's why I think it was really important to be able to be a part of recording this. And it was kind of gratifying too. I was a little worried when I did this because I didn't know how well it would be received by the people I was writing about. See, when I wrote about myself, I only had myself and my family to account to. But now that I was writing about all these other people, I had to worry, like, is this going to come through as fair representation of their experience? So fortunately, most of the people who responded have said, yeah, we're happy that you did this, and it helps us preserve our history. And the other reason that I want to do this is, I wasn't writing this mainly for Mississippi Chinese. I think all Americans, Chinese or otherwise, in other parts of the country, I hope that eventually, some of them would be interested in knowing about this really unusual environment, down in the Delta and those circumstances, very different from California. So with that, I just want to throw it open to any questions.
There's one down here.
Adults.
Yes.
Hi, John.
Hi.
John, thank you so much for this really interesting talk. It's wonderful. I was curious, in development, do you have access to Chinese foods and vegetables or grow at Chopsticks?
Oh, okay, all right. Did I or did the Mississippi Delta?
Both.
Okay. When I was in Georgia, yeah, we had some because there are Chinese grocers in Florida, so we could buy fresh produce from time to time that would be shipped up. I know in Atlanta, my aunt, she had her own garden in the backyard. She had grew all kinds of Chinese stuff, so she didn't go to the store to buy it. She was self-sufficient. In Mississippi, I know that they grew a lot. When I was down there in September, I saw the most humongous winter melon I've ever seen in the back of some guy's store. He had about a dozen of them sitting on the shelf there, and he was telling me that they lasted for however long. So yeah, being agricultural and in a rich soil that they have in the city, you can grow just about anything. So the Chinese there did grow their own fresh produce. The other stuff, like other Chinese in other parts of the country, would order, like preserved stuff, the dried stuff from San Francisco, Chinatown, or something like that. But they know how to cook down there, and they know how to eat down there. I mean, and I was there for 2 weeks. That's all we did was eat, basically. But there are not really a lot of like Chinese restaurants as such. Or if you go to a Chinese restaurant there, it's really somewhat catering to non-Chinese because most of the customers are going to be either black or white, and so you have to alter it. You can't serve authentic Chinese food. Yes?
In growing up back there, if we didn't have a certain item, we would go to Joe Avenue number 2 and buy some of the canned goods because they had a supply there.
Oh, yeah.
And then we would order from Chicago or San Francisco.
Right. Sure. Thank you. Yeah. Yes?
My office, I remember living in Arkansas. I remember my mother making some of the ingredients. She would buy the things like and then make it at home, like the tofu. She would actually do that herself.
Yes?
In 51, a family came from Mississippi, and we got to be very good friends. Then I was went into the Air Force and stationed in Atlanta. So I said, well, I'm going to go to Mississippi and visit the family, the G family. I don't know if anybody knows the G family. They came out here because the daughter wanted to go to Cal. So
What town was that? What city was that?
There, Marigold was one.
Marigold.
Oldest daughter was living in Marigold. And then Clarksdale, they had a gentleman birthday, 80th birthday or something. And I was invited to attend that. And like you said, everyone from Arkansas, Mississippi was there. And they catered their food from Chicago. All right. Roast paper and all. That was quite an experience.
Yeah. Well, I didn't know they catered from Chicago, but I do know that they would have a lot of big gatherings of many families, and everyone would do some contribution or cooking and so forth. In fact, I was even invited to someone's wedding party. I didn't even know them, but a relative of a relative said, "Come on down, you'll be welcome." I didn't go, but I kind of would feel a little intrusive. But that's their, Southern hospitality.
They're traveling chefs.
Travel.
Walk.
Oh yeah.
And contain cans.
Oh, okay.
And then they will cook out, outside.
All right, but with those traveling cooks, they were from the Delta? Yes.
Scottsdale mainly.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay,
So in that big hall you saw, the different college kids will be the waiters and waitresses.
Oh, I see, all right, okay. Yeah.
And then whenever I would go home, I always took 1 or 2 dozen ducks with me.
All right, yeah, that's true. That reminds me, once when we were living in Atlanta, we had relatives, when we were in San Francisco, we had relatives coming from Atlanta. My mother went down to Chinatown and bought like a dozen ducks, and then they took them back on the plane. Yes?
Was the family associations active down there?
Family association. Maybe you can answer that better. Family association.
Were they active?
We weren't, they tried to establish them there, but it didn't take hold.
But they're on there.
One there.
Yeah.
Give them the mic. Come on.
Yeah, so there was online, it was in Greenville. Yeah.
Oh.
Right. Someone else? Yes?
I was wondering, are your guests from Mississippi and Arkansas, are they presently living in the Bay Area?
The ones here, I think are all, right, they're all in the Bay Area. They're all refugees from Mississippi.
So they all moved from Mississippi, Arkansas?
Yeah, I think so, yeah. But,
A lot of professional in Jackson, Mississippi.
right, yeah. And Memphis, yeah.
We couldn't get jobs back there, so we had to move out.
Well, that's true, right. There was job discrimination too. Yeah, in fact, in my book, I have examples of that where people have highly trained. And one woman said, she went for the interview and everything, and they said, "Well, I'm sorry, I can't hire you." And he said, "Well, what's wrong? My qualifications meet those that are specified." And so he told her, he says, "Well, I just can't hire you because we don't hire people like you." And she said something like, "Well, what am I?" And he said, "Well, you're Chinese." Okay. So that was the situation, certainly well into the 50s. Not late, yeah.
I'm just curious, were the blacks slaves or were they
No.
free?
No, they weren't slaves at that time, no. Well, emancipation was technically 1863, so, yeah. By then, I'm not absolutely sure. I don't think slaves were on the cotton plantations. I mean, they were sharecroppers, which meant that they were like leased some land, basically, and they raised the crop, and then they'd have to sell it to the owner of the plantation at a certain price and so forth. But it was a very poor life existence. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, John. I want to, Bill asked me to ask some of you guests here. Is anybody here from Arkansas? Oh, one from Arkansas, Alabama, and Georgia. Oh, Georgia. There's two already. Louisiana. And the bill says, when we say people from the South, it doesn't mean Los Angeles. Or Southern China, right? So that's very interesting today. Listen, he's going to stay for lunch, and the guest will be on this side of room, and he has book for sale, and there's a discount, right?
Yeah, well, I decided, because I'm family or kind of thing, I've been here 3 times now, so if I don't get invited 4 times.
Yeah.
So
So,
I'm having a recession special, any book $10.
$10
Yeah,
and no tax.
well, $10 taxes.
Okay. Okay, then. Anyway, he's supposed to all here, and you people can talk with him later on. And I'm so happy that all you people come from San Francisco in a rainy weather like this.